Hello, I'm Ashley from Through the Loop Yarn Craft, and today we're going to be making the Make It Quick Cowl. This one is named just as it works up. It's super quick. This is a great pattern to use up some of your Lion Brand homespun yarn if you're not sure what to do with it, or if you've had trouble with using it in the past and find it difficult to work with. This pattern makes it really simple with cute results in the end. It uses about 72 yards of bulky weight yarn, and of course I'm using Lion Brand Homespun, and I believe this is Purple Haze, and an 8mm crochet hook. I will be using my Furls Streamline Ebony hook. You can find a link to my supplies below, as well as more information on my blog, which will also be linked below. So if you're ready to make a super quick and easy cowl, then let's gather our supplies and make the Make It Quick Cowl. All right, so we are going to begin the Make It Quick Cowl pattern with a chain of 20. And so we're just going to go ahead and chain 20. And 20. So now we've got our starting chain and we are ready for row 1. This cowl we will not be working in the round. We're going to work it in rows, then seam it afterwards. So we don't need to join our chain. We can just go ahead and start with row 1. So first of all, I'm going to show you a trick to working with this yarn. Sometimes you can see it might be really hard to see where your chains are. So what I like to do is go through and just kind of make them a little easier to see. Just kind of poke a hole through there with your finger or your hook and widen them up a little bit so you can just, they're easier to see as you're crocheting along. Okay, so we've got our little bit larger holes made, so it's a bit easier to see, and we are ready to start with row 1. We're just going to half double crochet into the second chain from the hook. So there's 1 and 2, half double crochet, and then we're going to chain 1. Now we're going to skip the next chain and half double crochet into the next. And chain 1. And we're just going to repeat that all the way across. So skip 1 and half double crochet into the next. So we're going to repeat that, and we want to end with 10 half double crochets. There we go, our 10 half double crochets. The starting chain over on the side does not count as a stitch. So now for round 2, we will just chain 1 and turn. And honestly, the first row is probably the most difficult one. From here on out, it's pretty easy. Row 2 is our repeat row. So this row and every one after that will be the same. So to begin, we're going to half double crochet in the first chain space. So that's where we made our chain 1. And then chain 1 and half double crochet in the next chain space. So as you can see, moving along now, you're just making every stitch into the chain space, which makes working with this kind of yarn really easy because you're not trying to look for the tops of all those stitches. So now just continue along, making a half double crochet in each chain space and chain one. And again, you will end with 10 half double crochets. So here I have 9 half double crochets and we're kind of at the end. So we're just going to go ahead and half double crochet kind of in between this stitch and that turn chain. Just insert your hook into the end and make that last 10th half double crochet, chain one, and we're ready to flip for round 3. So for this cowl, I did a total of 35 rows. If you want to make it longer or shorter, you absolutely can. I just found the 35 a nice length for a cowl once we've seamed it together. So we can continue on now with for 35 rows total, and then we can meet back here for seaming together. So just a half double crochet, chain one in each chain space across, and then one in that very last space. And there we go. So do the 35 rows or as many as you choose, and I will meet you back here for seaming it together. And welcome back. So here I have my 35 rows completed, and I am ready to seam the ends to turn it into the cowl. So I'm just going to tie this off. Now there are 2 ways that you can finish this one off by seaming the ends. You can use your yarn needle and whip stitch the ends, or you can just continue and slip stitch the 2 ends together. I usually prefer to do the needle and whip stitch because I just feel like it makes the seam a little less bulky. So I'm going to go ahead and get my needle on and whip stitch that across. So I've got my needle secured. So I'm just going to flip this around and bring the 2 ends together. A nice size here. So I will show you how I whip stitch, and again, alternatively, you can just slip stitch the 2 ends together if you prefer. So we just want to make sure we go through both sides and then just stitch it across. Just like so, all the way along that 2 rows, making sure you go through both layers. And there we go, we've got that stitched all the way across. So you can go ahead now and weave in your ends. It's a little bit easier to do it now, and that way when you turn it inside out so that the seam is on the inside, you don't have to worry about those ends. And there we go. That's all there is to it. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed crocheting the Make It Quick Cowl. As you can see, it works up quite quickly and it's great for a last minute gift. You can use other bulky number 5 bulky weight yarns, and if you pop over to my blog, I do have some photos on there of some of the testers and how theirs turned out with other yarns. If you like this video, please hit that subscribe and like button and let me know, and that way you will also be notified anytime I have new videos and tutorials out. Thanks so much for being here today and crocheting along with me, and I cannot wait until next time.